You're watching Channels Television broadcasting from Lagos. We'll now bring you a live coverage of the Nigerian Army press conference on Operation Lafiya Dole activities from Borno State.
This is a live Channels Television event.
Today, the theater commander, Major General Ibrahim Atairu, will be speaking to us and giving us an update on the activities of Operation Lafiya Dole in the last 1 month. Without much waste of time, may I now very respectfully invite the theater commander to please take the floor. The theater commander, sir.
The component commanders, principal staff officers of Operation Lafiya Dole, senior officers, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. The format for the briefing will be as follows. In the first phase, I shall provide an overview of the operations within the general area of Operation Lafiya Dole. And then in the second part, we'll have an interactive session. Before the press briefing, let me also quickly commensurate with one of our colleagues here, Abdul Karim, whom I'm told, the Premium Times correspondent, whom I'm told lost his son. Accept our sympathy, may his soul rest in perfect peace. Gentlemen of the press and members of the public, I welcome you all to today's press conference. The resolve to keep the public informed of the Operation Lafiya Dole is still very much aglow. The last 1 month has witnessed sustained operations against our common adversary, the Boko Haram terrorist group. The period witnessed concurrent operations involving Operation Pt.1 and Operation Ruwanwuta. The two operations focused on coordinated aerial bombardment by the air and artillery platforms supported by land operations against the Boko Haram terrorists to further decimate their ranks. Operation Pt.2 orchestrated myriads of precursor operations, including clearance operation, long-range patrols, ambushes, blocking operations, as well as cordon and search operations. On the other hand, Operation Ruwanwuta, which was majorly an air operation in sync with the artillery, effectively brought devastating air and artillery bombardments to bear on the insurgents. The Boko Haram terrorists were further decimated in the process, with quite a handful of their enclaves and hideouts along our international borders with Cameroon destroyed. The mobile strike teams, which were inaugurated in mid-August 2017, have steadily gained momentum and have continued to ensure our main supply routes are adequately patrolled and secured on a daily basis, thus enhancing the safety of commuters, as well as ensuring the gradual return of economic activities in some rural communities. The naval outpost Lake Chad, in conjunction with 7th Brigade Amphibious Troops Baga, are equally ensuring unhindered fishing activities and also denying the Boko Haram terrorists freedom of action under Lake Chad. The Boko Haram terrorists have continued to flagrantly violate extant international humanitarian and human rights laws by committing heinous crimes, attacking vulnerable and defenseless civilians, as well as conscripting underage as fighters, and for unleashing suicide attacks on innocent citizens. Our troops, on the other hand, have continued to responsively counter the Boko Haram terrorist activities, thereby further achieving decisive condition for the eventual defeat of the Boko Haram terrorists. During the period under review, troops foiled several Boko Haram suicide and other forms of improvised explosive device attack, IED for short, thereby causing the adversary to drown in its own blood. It is rewarding to note that our operations during this period brought despondency upon the Boko Haram terrorists, and with the resolve by the troops of Operation Lafiya Dole to tenaciously pursue their mandate, I want to reassure you that Boko Haram terrorists will finally be brought to its knees in no distant time. This brief will thus shed light on the operational activities of Operation Lafiya Dole in the last 1 month. Now to operational activities. Most of the activities of the Boko Haram terrorists during the period were callously targeted at civilians in IDP camps and remote communities, with IED mostly employed by terrorist groups against these soft targets. The Boko Haram terrorists also engage in theft of livestock and kidnapping. However, our troops responded decisively to these terrorist activities by conducting clearance operations to deny the insurgents freedom of action. Troops also conducted operations to block Boko Haram access to logistic supplies as well as replenishment. Furthermore, troops neutralized the Boko Haram terrorists through robust fighting patrols and ambush operations. A total of 19 Boko Haram terrorists were killed in combat, while 18 others were arrested. 10 Boko Haram terrorists surrendered to own troops during the period, while 230 Boko Haram terrorist captives were rescued and handed over to various IDP camps. Some of the operational activities embarked upon by own troops will be highlighted. Troops encounters with terrorists. In the period under review, troops conducted precursor operations and other offensives geared towards their final defeat. Some of the operations led to the killing of 2 Boko Haram key commanders, Abdu Kawuri and Abubakar Benishek, in a successful operation on the 1st of September 2017 at Alafa in Bama local government area. Additionally, a prominent Boko Haram terrorist commander, Baba Ibrahim, and 2 other commanders died after sustaining injuries during the last encounter with our special forces in an ambush at Magomeri local government area of Borno State.